thank you so much for your time here on ENCA, ma'am. The advice that you might just have for those first-year students who are going to university next year or any tertiary institution and are nervous about it.
I think being nervous is a very common reaction, and it's better than being overconfident. So I think first thing is, if you're feeling nervous, then that means that you're taking it seriously enough. And really, there are three things that we'd just like to suggest that people think about before they tackle this journey. The one is kind of getting your head around it, kind of saying to yourself, okay, look, what is going to be different and what is my plan? At school, the timetable is all set for you and you simply do as you're told. And you need to start thinking about the fact that at university level, if you're not in class, nobody's going to follow up, et cetera, et cetera. So you've got to make some real decisions. If you know you're a procrastinator, if you know you're not a morning person, make a plan now for managing those sorts of things. The second thing is to be as prepared as you possibly can. Are you sure that you've chosen the right field for yourself? Are you confident about what it is you're going to study? Try and find a student who has studied in a similar field. If you're really diligent, try and get a bit of pre-reading in. If you've already got textbooks, do whatever you can to make it feel less unfamiliar. So then whether you're studying in person or online, try and get familiar with the physical environment in the 2 or 3 days before lecture starts. So really, I think that the key thing that we're trying to communicate to students is to eliminate as many of the unknowns as you possibly can, because the change in process is going to be very real. So reduce how many things you've got to handle, particularly in those first few weeks.
So let me tell you what happened to me when I went to varsity, and maybe you can help those who have, who have a similar life that I did. I went to an all-girls school. I was at Parktown Girls for 5 years. So I had no idea how it was really to be around boys, first of all. So those were my nerves. But secondly, even in society, my grandmother, I lived with my grandmother, and she cocooned me, basically. She didn't want me to be in the streets because I'm from Soweto, and she just had a perception about, people who are in the streets. So she kept me at home. So I really didn't know how to gel with boys when I got to varsity, especially because in varsity there's even older boys. So that was quite scary for me. Advice to people who might be having similar lives?
The story that you tell just resonates so much for me. I also was at a girls' school, and I get exactly what you're saying. I think that one of the things that people need to have serious conversations about is that one of the ways that young people try and deal with that social anxiety is alcohol. And you need a strategy around that. You need to know that you're placing yourself in a situation in which you are going to really struggle to set your own boundaries if you're using alcohol to oil it. And you may, if you're a boy, be bravado and violating girls' rights and all of those things that simply cannot happen. Those are things that set you up for ruining your life. So I think for the boys and girls, particularly who are entering into a really different kind of space, that you focus really hard on protecting yourself and protecting your friends. So team up with somebody whose life circumstances have been quite similar to yours so that you've got a support network going. Remember, sometimes the people who are acting really brave and really full of themselves are just as nervous as you are. So I guess safety first, hey? And then, find 1 or 2 friends. You don't have to be the social butterfly in order to kind of fit in. And choose 1 or 2 people that you feel share your value frame and keep each other safe, a buddy system. Unfortunately, we know with gender-based violence, et cetera, that there are real risks when people are in environments where their normal coping strategies don't work. And I think it's a mistake to undermine those. University is not only about studying, being at an education institution is about the social environment. So just like everything new, let yourself in slowly and be good to yourself, but keep yourself safe.
All right,
And that means keeping other people safe too.
So we've spoken about some of the scary things that you might find in university and what to do to protect yourself. But it is nice to be in varsity, right? It teaches you some independence. There are fun times there. Let's talk more about that.
Okay, so the fun times, and it links to the other question that you just asked. Almost all institutions, in fact, pretty much all of them that I know of, even some of those that are online, give you an opportunity to join clubs or societies or reading groups or whatever. And I would strongly suggest that you seek out a couple of those in your first few weeks. First of all, it'll give you a social network of people who share interests with you. But secondly, it'll give you an opportunity to have something other than the study. And it is about learning independence. It is about learning how to manage your time, managing the resources of your emotional commitment in activities. So, yes, the social life can very rapidly become just parties, but we've already indicated, what the downside of that could be. So, if you've never played a sport before, join a walking group. Just do something that you can find a way of linking in to some kind of activity. Absolutely. It is fun. It's a huge, people say school's the best time of your life. Certainly, I'm sure you will remember as well that there were things in university that were scary. The other thing is that people make mistakes. Okay, so if you mess it up once, find a way out. Talk to somebody. All institutions have support networks, student and staff led, and speak to somebody. Don't let one thing that you've messed up or an opportunity that you've missed begin to define you.
Thank you so much for your time on ENCA. Of course, that is very good advice. And, I turned out fine, so I'm very grateful to my grandmother, even though she sheltered me quite a lot.